I think if I was ever to commit suicide, I don't think that I would ever want to use a sharp object and cut myself open and let myself bleed out. It sounds kind of morbid to start a diary that way, but having cut my finger, it's a real pain in the ass. I think when you cut yourself, the initial response after the cut happens and you begin to bleed, it's a very normal, purposeful. I think. Like I think whether we evolved or whether we were created to have this response. I think that this response is there on purpose, that when you get cut open and stuff from inside of your skin begins to come out, i.e. blood or fat cells or whatever, you have a very natural response to want to cover it, close it up, and fix it. Which would, for me, if I was going to ever commit suicide and, cut my wrists, that kind of reaction would not be conducive to killing myself. I'd cut myself open and go, oh, fuck, and then just immediately start trying to save my own life. I shouldn't joke about it, but it's true. Honest to God, if I was going to do it, I would need to have some kind of, like, something to put me to sleep, and then, kill me that way. Go in my sleep. I wouldn't want to go drowning. Drowning is the most painful death, and everyone's like, it's so peaceful. That shit ain't peaceful. It's only peaceful for the onlooker because they're above the water, and the drowner is under the water, inhaling water into their lungs, which is incredibly painful. It sucks. Anyway, I'm just saying that because I cut my finger and it's been a bitch of a time healing properly. Well, okay, the cut itself is healing. That's fine. But it's a pain in the arse because I've had to keep it stable the whole time. And that means I had to have it immobilized. I've got Band-Aids on it now. At one point I had Band-Aids and I had a thick maxi pad wrapped around it. And that immobilized it, and it was going to suck up any blood, extra blood. Which it actually didn't bleed that much. Like I've said in a previous diary, we got it closed up pretty quick and then bandaged shut. Like, there's barely even going to be a scar. There's probably going to be about as much as a scar as I'd have if I got stitches. That's, how well we closed it up. But because it was immobilized for so long, the finger, it doesn't want to bend. When I take the bandage off and clean it, you're like, oh, fuck, that hurts. It just doesn't want to, it hurts to bend it. And it reminds me of when I was a kid and I busted my arm and I was on a trapeze rope and swinging and there's a trapeze rope and then a big, in the light here, in the view of the camera, there's a big hill and then a bottom and then went down further and there was a branch hanging out over this big hill. And I swung out by mistake backwards, just holding on to the trapeze thing by my fingers and I just fell off. It was stupid. It was my fault. Broke my arm, and it was bent. It was gruesome, like vomit in your mouth when you see it. Gruesome. Anyway, so I spent 6 weeks with my arm stuffed in a cast, so that it could heal, right? And when they took the cast off, because my arm had been up, in that kind of a position for so long, hadn't moved, the tendons were like, okay, listen, we got to do this. We're going to take our time to get this, back to normal, but the doctor cut the cast off and immediately was like, rah, 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 rah. And he's just moving my arm. And I'm like, oh my God, it hurt so bad for my tendons to stretch like that so quickly that I almost puked. And then I passed out. I fell off the stool. And if my mom wasn't standing behind me to catch me, I would have conked my head off the floor. It sucked. Not only did I have a stinky arm from being in a cast for 6 weeks, but now my arm hurt. And it hurt for a couple of days. I couldn't bend it properly again. I was supposed to go to physio to get it working properly, but I was a kid. I just got it working myself. I'm older now, and I only use this finger for guitar, for, I guess I use it for everything. But the stuff that I consciously use it for now that I realize after having this, the mouse button, playing guitar, picking my nose, scratching my butt, and I'm having problems doing all that stuff because the finger doesn't want to bend because the tendons are all tight. After a week or just over a week. So, no, I hope that I don't cut myself like this ever again. And I couldn't commit suicide by cutting myself. Hell, let me fall out of a plane and smear on the concrete. I just couldn't bleed out like that. I want to save my life and not go through this again. Yesterday, Margaret and I actually uploaded a video onto the Vloginsons that's basically, it's like a spoof commercial for the Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 7. I've been playing that game like crazy for the last like 4 days, and I'm just loving the crap out of it. I think it's pretty much, if you're a gamer and you like the survival horror genre, I think that this game is pretty much what that genre needed, you know, to boost it back up again. And really, Resident Evil, that series, needed this game to put it back in the spotlight, because the last few games haven't been really that great. They haven't been so much horror as they've been kind of like horror action. And this one's just pretty much a straight up horror game. So I've had a lot of fun playing it, and I really like what they've done with it, making it first person. So we did this video, like a spoof commercial on this game, and we were really hoping that it would get more views. It got shared. A lot of people shared it, which was really amazing. It made us feel really special that people actually enjoyed it and shared it. But this is the fucking YouTube algorithms right there. They just won't pick it up. You know, they just won't grab it. And I think it's a damn good video. If you're not subscribed to our channel, just take a nip over to the Vlogginsons, and it's called Don't Play Resident Evil. And it's actually a good review of the game, sort of, with comedy and like a stereotypical angry wife who doesn't understand video games, who starts a video off, you know, complaining that I'm playing this game all the time. You just go watch it. It's actually really, really good. It's short. It's like 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And I'm sure that you'll think it's hilarious. It has a surprise ending too. We uploaded that. A lot of people liked it. It just hasn't got as many views as we would have liked it to get. So there's that. And then today, Margaret's just been really upset because she realized that this person that Margaret's a cake artist. She runs a cake business called Hello Sweetie Cakes, and she runs this business, and she does a great job, and she usually gets great reviews. She puts out a great product. I know. I ate it every day for 1.5 years. I know the product is great. But she, you know, as a business owner, you can't have everything work out perfectly every time with every customer, and things got a little fucky with this customer. And it's partly the customer's fault, and they never wanted to admit it, and partially Margaret's fault, and she did admit it. I think they wanted a refund, but Margaret refused to give it because this person was it seemed very unreasonable, you know, just wouldn't listen to what Margaret had to say, really just kept coming back with more, just refused. So Margaret was like, fuck it, she's not getting a refund. It's just as simple as that. When you behave that way, you don't get a refund. Margaret probably would have issued a partial refund had this person been just a little bit more reasonable. But anyway, so this woman, when she didn't get what she wanted, was really just her money back. And it was based on a mix-up. This person had her own faults. She messed up some things with communication too. When she didn't get her money back, she decided to post it on this group that she admins. It's like a wedding group of some sort. And she basically went on to say that she thought Margaret was really talented, but here's the problems. And she's not trying to slam Margaret, but then slam. Some of the things she said just weren't true. You know, maybe she thinks they're true, or maybe she's just saying things that she knows are not true to make herself sound better. But she realized that that's been up there since October, and it's been bumped a few times too. And that's really bothered her because she thinks that maybe she hasn't been getting as many cake orders, custom wedding cakes from brides, is because of this. A lot of local people that are getting married check the site out, and it's like, bam, there's Margaret, there's the review of Margaret's company, right there, by this angry, very angry person. The kind of person that is all nice and sugar and spice until you piss her off, and then she's a whole fucking heap of jollies and whirlwind of trouble. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. That kind of shit. I think that's what Margaret's dealing with right now, which sucks because she's a gentle soul, but she won't be walked on, and that's why she didn't give her the money back. So, but anyway, she found that. She's been really upset about that today. I sent her upstairs to go and do something, anything, just get away from the computer. Maybe I'll go check on her. Anyway, that's the diary for the day. Wednesday, February 1st, 2017. Thanks for being in your diary.